What's going on, family? Welcome back to Israel's Movie Reviews, and we're going to be discussing today M3GAN. Is this the new Chucky for this generation, for the centennials, right? We're going to get straight into it. So we're going to be discussing M3GAN from 2022, and we're going to get straight into it. This movie, I think, was very, very epic in many ways. Don't get me twisted, it's not the greatest film in the world, but you know, when you're talking about an above average killer robot, you know, Chucky-like film, this movie definitely sticks the landing. You're going to be very impressed from the opening scene. You know, this movie has one of the most epic, I think, insane openings that I've seen in a while. You know, this setting definitely firms and cements the tone of the film right from the beginning, you know, where you see this family. It's mom, dad, and this little girl, obviously. And she appears to be in an accident due to her parents arguing. And why they were arguing, I'll let you see in the film. It was stupid on the mother's part, but I guess that's what makes the movie in many ways. If it wasn't for this accident, a lot of the things that occur in this film would not take place. So obviously, as you can imagine, the argument doesn't get resolved. It gets resolved in a very tragic way, which makes this movie a very, very solid horror movie. You know, hands down, I think this was the better film when it comes to the Child's Play 2019 version of Chucky, which I enjoyed that movie thoroughly. But this movie definitely makes that movie look like shit, honestly. You know, my gripe with this film was, although I think it was very entertaining, it's very predictable from start to finish. It was at least a better movie in terms of, you know, I think cinematography, design, the aesthetic of M3GAN. To me, she looked like Elizabeth Olsen in many ways, just in a, you know, doll version. And yes, you think about it a lot when you're looking at you're like, wow, this is creepy as fuck. You know what I mean? A lot of the film, a lot of the subtleties in the film when it comes to the plot, though, it doesn't make a lot of sense. There's a lot of things that go beyond your imagination. You know, why are the adults in this film pretty much stupid? You know, they're dumb or ignorant when it comes to implementing AI into their lives, especially AI when it comes to children. And what is an AI prototype, right? This film lacks to mention a lot of that stuff. Why didn't they have the slightest foresight and precaution of what an AI can do if, God forbid, something goes wrong? This film, while you're watching it, many different things are gonna pop up. And, you know, why use an AI as basically a puppet for these children? You know, especially a puppet that possesses not only the capable capacity, mentally wise, but kind of have the strength of a Terminator in a way. You know, and this robot is dangerous. Why, you know, they don't disconnect the brain chip entirely from the body when doing any of these fail-safe tests during the film, don't know. But even with all that predictability and kind of leaps in logic, I still was very much entertained. I seen the trailer, and I didn't bother to see any new trailers. So the scene where, it's crazy. There's a scene where she's playing the piano, creeped me the fuck out, but that was an awesome scene. Scene in the forest, that is another one. The visuals and the ideas that this movie pulls off, second to none. I loved the cinematography. There were a lot of pretty shots in this film, especially towards the end. In that forest scene, my God. When you see that, you're gonna be like, oh, I know what Iz was talking about. The choreography of the puppet was well done. A lot of people don't know. It was actually a girl behind a mask. And obviously they used some special effects, but that was a practical person in that M3GAN basically costume. You know, it was a young girl who was a young actress, and I liked their duality. I liked her chemistry with the main girl in the film. I thought that was, oof, it was spooky, very complicated, but very dope at the same time. It was a blend of, you know, animatronics, a mocap, and a VX animation, which, depending on the shot, you know, it's hard to even, they pulled it off awesomely, you know. And the movie is a little tame when it comes to actually showing the actual violence. I thought that was pretty unique, although somebody like me wants to see carnage candy like a Chucky, right? But at the end of the day, I think they did really good with that. This movie's gonna have not the most memorable kills, but they were very interesting, and they get you off your seat. That's the most important thing. The actual showdown towards the ending of the film, the climax, could have been, I think, a bit more creative, but I felt like there was a lot of rewrites in that ending. You can tell they punched up the final confrontation in such a way where, to me, it came out weak. I expected a little more to it. I wanted that shock value, but overall, the film, I think, was basically kind of like a glorified, you know, show that could have been, you know, in a Netflix special when it comes to, you know, shows like Black Mirror and stuff like that. This basically could have been a Black Mirror episode. But, you know, without getting too much into spoiler territory or going too dark, unfortunately, it's a very, very solid horror movie. For the average moviegoer, I think this introduction into a horror movie, it's perfect. You know, you're not going to be afraid as an adult. You might be a little disappointed by the lack of commitment the movie has towards this kind of genre when it comes to a doll with some AI. I think we've only seen it twice now. And we have a lot of different combinations in this film. This movie reminds me of Terminator in many ways. Obviously, it's going to be compared to Chucky because it's a horror and science fiction film, right? About, you know, a robot with artificial intelligence. And, you know, the main character, Gemma, which you know her from, you know, Get Out, you know, plays this robotic engineer that introduces specialized toys to younger individuals that might need it in this case because the young girl, you know, lost her parents. And it's interesting how they present us with this scoop, right, with the history of the company that makes these dolls. And they're increasingly relying on technology for some reason, right? These parents, they want to leave all the education to their child through these AIs. You know, here we have, like I mentioned before, this combination where you think about M3GAN, and she was asked to care basically for this young girl, physically and emotionally. And by the end of the film, you're like, is she doing more damage than what she was supposed to do? You know, she was to comfort, teach this girl, but she's kind of hurting her in many ways. You know, and there's, towards the beginning of the film, the story, you're going to see it's very predictable because they introduce something in the beginning of the film when it comes to this university project that one of the main characters is actually working on. And it comes to fruition towards the end of the film. You're like, oh, I knew it was going to go there, you know. And the way the movie ends also, we also have a lot of time jumps that we take for granted without even saying if days passed, weeks, months, years, obviously. But in general, you know, in short, I think, you know, M3GAN is going to be a very epic movie. I think it's going to make a lot of money in the box office. I think this is going to be the new Chucky for this, you know, for this youth. Has a lot of recycled concepts from this generation. Visually, I gotta say, they did a very, very stunning job with the puppets and the doubles and the girl who plays M3GAN behind the scenes. I think it manages to be a very, very entertaining film. And I will actually say I want to see it a couple more times. That's how entertaining this movie was. You know, I can't wait to actually see it in my house. You know, they also leave an ending that can lead, obviously, to a second movie like a lot of these films do. They introduce you to concepts, and if the movie actually makes money, they wait to see the box office results, and then why not? Boom, you have a new franchise of horror dolls, and this one is really gonna freak you out. You know, it's in my mind, it's far from horror. It's more cool and nuanced, and this movie's gonna beat the hell out of Annabelle. I'll tell you that much. M3GAN is a doll that they created to not only companion kids, but to companion us, hopefully down the line as we evolve from a lot of trashy horror movies, even though 2021 produced a lot of positive horror movies. But this one is a different aspect and different fun when it comes to horror. So definitely go check out this movie. Interesting movie about the dangers of artificial intelligence and what it means to really commit horrible actions when AI is involved. So definitely go check out this film. I gave this movie a 7 out of 10. And I look forward to what you got to see in the comments. Get at me if you disagree. You already know where to reach me. It's Rock Movie Reviews. Hit that like button, hit that comment, hit that notification bell. And I'll see you in the next one.